Hi again, YouTubers. So this is my first video in kind of a compiled review of a certain type of products. The first one I'm going to start with this is the eyeshadow primers that I have. And I'd love to hear if you guys like this way of doing things, what your thoughts are, if you think that there's anything that I can do to make it a little bit easier. So this I'm going to get started with is eyeshadow primers. I have probably about 8 or 9 of them here out that I'm going to go through. I'll go through each one, try and give you a good amount of information about them, same as I would do in a review. And also this way you can compare them to other products that are similar. First one I'm going to talk about is Urban Decay Primer Potion. This is what the container looks like. This is probably the most common thing that you hear people talk about on YouTube, and on pretty much any type of blog situation about priming your eyelid for eyeshadow. Now the key part about primers is the reason to use them is they actually help hold on powder shadows on your eye better. So what that does is if you actually do multiple colors and you kind of are blending them in and putting them in a certain area, you don't want halfway through the day to have that color kind of fade off or move, or even very bright colors can fade throughout the day. And these products actually help keep them in place, keep them true to color, and just keep the overview of what you were trying to do on your eye very true to what you started out with in the morning. We never like when we go home at 8 o'clock and it looks totally different, or 5 o'clock. So Urban Decay Primer Potion is the most common one that you probably see, and you'll see it abbreviated as UDPP, your Urban Decay Primer Potion. And a lot of people love this product. It's probably 80% of the time, if you look in my down bar, what I'm wearing on my eyelids for a primer, but people don't like the packaging. Now, if you look at the packaging here, this portion here is very difficult. This is a wand that actually you can pull the product out and then swipe it on. Can you even see that? It's right there. These are neutral colors, so you're not going to see swatches of them, but that's how you could just tap it onto your eye and then kind of spread it out more evenly. But there's a lot of remaining product in this area here. Now, a couple different things. You will hear that you can cut these open. You can do that. I have done that and put it in like a little container. The problem with that being that as you saw through, you were actually possibly getting the plastic remnants from the container into that product. I have heard about people, Vein WPC being a big one, that she did that and she actually got an eye infection because of those particles getting into this. So just be very, very careful if you do decide to do that. Now, a great thing about Urban Decay is they recently released something called the professional size, which this is what it looks like here. Difference in sizes. And this is really great because it is a squeeze tube. And you just squeeze out a little bit and then you just tap it in. This is a great concept. The downside with this is I have heard that this size, the professional size, will be limited edition. But the other good side of this is I have heard that this product was kind of the trial version to then bring it into this size and keep this one in a tube for the remainder. I don't know for sure. These are all just rumors that you hear, but cross your fingers, that's what they'll do, because that is the main downside with this product is the packaging. The next one that you'll hear a lot about is Too Faced Shadow Insurance, which is a very, very similar product. However, it comes in a tube. Makes it much easier to deal with. Same thing, the squeeze top. Great product. Again, it's just a very neutral, blends right into your skin tone. Can be used on any skin type. The key with these as well is if you have oily eyelids, meaning that in your crease you kind of have that build up throughout the day. These are great for that. Someone once said to me, they said, oily eyelids, how is that even possible? Well, it is possible because they are still part of your skin and it still glands, and when you put shadow on, a lot of times that oil can actually separate those shadows. So these are really, really good for oily eyelids, and just to help those shadows stay on. The one thing I love about Too Faced Shadow Insurance is they have these tiny little baby ones that are for travel. You can get these at Ulta. That's the only place I've seen these, and it's 0.11 ounces. But I use these in my travel bag and it's great. It's way easier than bringing a big thing like this. So love that. The next thing that you most commonly will hear about is the MAC paint pots. And this is what they look like. They're in little glass jars. And this is Painterly. This is the one I wanted. Painterly for me is the closest to my skin tone. There is Bare Study and Soft Ochre, I think. Soft Ochre is more of a yellow based. This one has a little bit more of a pink undertone to it. Now, my only problem with MAC paint pots, if you can see this, it has started separating from the edge, which technically to me means that the product's drying out and it's starting to go bad, but this is still very moist and easy to use. Now, one thing I personally find with paint pots is I do not use my finger to apply them. I use a 217 brush, which is just a round top shader brush. I use this, that is specifically my paint pot brush. And I really like, because it smooths it out and it doesn't get it on there too heavy. If you get too much of this product on your eyelid, it will cake up. These are not eyeshadow primers. They can work for some people as that, especially if you have dry lids or normal. If you have oily lids, I would suggest putting a primer potion underneath of them. If you want to use something, sorry, I just got stuff on my finger, such as, because they have colors. This one is Artifact. And it's a beautiful color. But I will say, for me personally, I still put a primer potion underneath of these. Now, I have many of times used Painterly as a base on its own just to neutralize my eyelid. And it works very well for that, but I don't do it if I'm going to do long term. Just on my eyes, that's how it works the best. Sorry, got something in my eye. But you will hear a lot about those. Those are a huge, huge product out there. And there are multiple colors. This Groundwork is like one of my favorites. And this is great for darker skin tones for a base because it will be closer to your skin tone. God, my nose is itching today. My eyes are itching today. Craziness. So the next thing I'm gonna mention is MAC also has a product called Paints. And they come in a tube like this. They are not as easy to squeeze out. The actual opening is larger than, say, the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, but these mainly are colored bases as well. These are more difficult to apply because you have to squeeze out a little bit and then you have to close it quickly so that more doesn't come out because they're, when you squeeze them, the product just keeps coming out. So you have to close them very quickly and make sure that you close them well. This is the only one I have. It's Structural Brown, which is a limited edition, so discontinued long ago product color, but it is my favorite of these, and I wish there was a paint pot or something similar, but it's a great, great color. It's got a really nice, it's almost like a reddish brown undertone. I'll put a little bit on my hand. I'm trying to, again, see, this is why it isn't so easy to get out. Oops, there we go. I don't want too much to squeeze out. Again, you gotta close them quickly. That color right there. Really pretty color. It's great, great for a neutral smoky eye. So that's a really great color. The next thing I'm going to mention is by Costal Scents, and it is their Shadow Works eyeshadow primer. This is what the container looks like. It's a bright yellow. It's a nice tube. One of the key things I'll mention about this is this has a large shimmer to it, shimmer quality to it. See if you can see that on there. There you go. Yeah, you can see that. I'm trying to get you a good shot of it, but it's kind of hard to get the shimmer in it. You can. There you go. Okay, so the product itself works very, very well. Keeps your eyeshadows on, but you have to use this when you want that sheen. I use a lot of matte shadows. And my first thought was, I'm not gonna like this because of that reason. And someone had mentioned to me that actually putting this on and then putting a matte color on it gives it just a really nice dimension to it. And I really do like that. It's a great product. It holds, again, the color on very well, but this one, because it has a sheen to it, be careful and make sure that you're looking for a product that has a sheen to it. The ones that I've shown you so far do not have that. they are just flat matte. So the next product is Benefit FYI, and it's actually spelled EYE. This I've heard is discontinued, is being discontinued. I don't honestly know. It's a peach toned eyeshadow primer. This one I actually apply with my finger. Running out of space here. This is very good. It's right there. This is very good if you have veining on your eyelids and you want to cancel out that blue veining before you apply shadow. It does last well. I would still say that the Urban Decay Primer Potion or Too Faced Shadow Insurance, to me, hold on color a lot better. This one just seems to, my colors don't stay as true when I put this on. So that itself, if it is being discontinued, so be it. I don't think I'll repurchase that one right now. You never know. Our minds always change. The next product I'm going to mention is Michael Todd's eyeshadow base. And I actually used this today and I love this. Like, I think this is what Urban Decay Primer Potion should be, because it would be in a container with the wand still, and you can just apply a little bit onto your lids. Literally one pull on that, this amount here, can do both eyelids. It is great. It stays all day. It doesn't move. It is matte. It is very easy to work with. It is very smooth. I wish Urban Decay would use a packaging like this. This is probably one of my favorite eyeshadow bases simply because of that, and the staying power is amazing on this. So I love that product. The next one I'm going to mention is Pandora's Box, and it is just their eyeshadow primer. They have one primer. This is what it looks like. Again, this is one you apply with your finger. It is matte. This one has a lot of, I got a lot on my fingers, sorry. This one is very matte. It's right down here. It does not blend in as easily, so I think if you are a darker skin tone, this might not work for you. I would say anything over like 35, 40 in MAC, this might not work as well for you. But it is a nice product. I do find over time, I like it in the winter. I don't like it as much in the summer. The heat gets to it and it just kind of doesn't hold as true for me as some of these others. The next one I'm going to mention is by a company called Pop, P-O-P Beauty Eye Magnet Primer. This is a sample one. This is what it looks like. Again, this is great. I love these little wands. See, this is actually what I wish. I should start taking this one as my travel one. I wish that this was in a little container like this. I know we can't get everything we want, but this same thing, you just have a little swipe to it. This one has a little bit of a peach undertone to it, but overall this one stays very well as well. I wouldn't say that this would be my first choice to run out and get, but I think as a sample and for travel size, this is a great product. Holds the color on well, does the basic same as the others here. It's just, I don't even know where you get Pop. I think Ulta sells it, but I'm not 100% sure. I just personally think if I was gonna run out, I wouldn't try and search this one out. So another one that I have had, it's probably the first eyeshadow primer I ever tried, and this isn't the first container of it. I went through multiples of these. I would say I've gone through about 3 or 4 of these, and this is actually in the old packaging. This is Laura Mercier's Eye Base in Wheat, and it's funny because it's now in a square container, kind of like this is how they sell them. You can buy them at Sephora. Wheat is my favorite color. They have multiple colors, and the colors they have aren't like structural brown or artifact or dark colors, but they do have multiple colors to fit the right skin tone. I personally love this. I have heard reviews out there though of people that really just don't think that this is a good primer. I personally think it cancels out any blue undertones. I think it leaves a great, you could just put eyeliner on after this and it works phenomenally. Holds my shadow on great. This might be better for somebody that has normal to dry eyelids, maybe not if you have oily eyelids, or if you're using large amounts of eyeshadow, maybe if you are doing multiple colors. This is kind of better for a one shade and a highlighter type of thing. But I personally love it. I've just heard a lot of people that either love it or hate it. It's one of those products. The last two things I'm going to mention are kind of together is NYX Jumbo Eyeshadow Pencil and the MAC Shade Stick. This is what they look like. They are very similar. They are simply a twist up tube that you can apply it anywhere. This is in the color Penny, which is discontinued. And then this is NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, which is just a white. I have a couple other colors as well. But these are actually, these are the two colors right there. These are actually something that you would use as a colored eyeshadow base. Now these are not primers, these are bases for a color that you want to build up. If I am using either of these, I always put something like Primer Potion, Too Faced Shadow Insurance, whatever on beforehand. These are great if you want to just do a primer and then throw this on for a little bit of color and you're done and walk out the door. The white one is great if you want really bright looks. It goes great under eyeshadows, but be very careful. It takes very little of the jumbo pencils to put on your eyelid. Like I'm talking 2 little dashes can do your entire eyelid. So these are great products, but these are more colored shadow bases, such as the darker colors in MAC's paint pots, something like this. Great products, great to have, just not something you want to use on its own. So these are my eyeshadow primers. A quick overview of probably my favorites for strictly a primer is Urban Decay Primer Potion, especially if they change the packaging, Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and the Michael Todd eyeshadow base. And if I'm looking for a colored base, I love paints, oops, wrong one, paint pots, and shade sticks or NYX Jumbo eyeshadow pencils. So that's my overview. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know what your thoughts are on this new process, and let me know if you have any questions on any of these products you saw here. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great day. Bye.